Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here. It is 8:28 a.m. EST. We got some news coming out in about 2 minutes that should have an effect on the market. Definitely looking at the euro headed down. But the question is the euro really headed down or is the dollar headed up, right? And we're going to take a look at that. And the dollar headed up can affect all markets, Bitcoin included. Now, Bitcoin itself is actually holding up okay. It dipped down to about 115 last night, but did not break below its low here at 114.7. So it's going to hold in the range. I'm going to go back to the euro here because the news is about to drop. We have a little bit of data coming out, some employment data, and I believe some GDP data. So I'm going to jump down to the, we'll say the 5-minute time frame. See if there really is any major effect on the price as this news drops. And let me go ahead and look on another screen here. Give me a moment. Okay. The news coming out here is going to be the USD, it's PCE, so inflation data, as well as employment data. So now the core PCE doesn't seem to get out. There it goes. Okay, so this is popping down. This looks like dollar strong news so far. Okay. And the actual data comes out in a couple of seconds. It looks like the smart people already know, or the right people, if you will, already know what the data is. Unemployment claims so far are a nothing burger. But the PCE and cost index for employment is still pending. So it looks like the news might be relatively ineffectual. Employment cost index is dollar strong news. It's showing a tick above expected. What that means is that it's showing that the economy is relatively strong and that there's no cuts coming anytime soon is what is going to be extrapolated from that. And the GDP and the PCE index are as expected. So the news today really didn't have much effect on price. Price will probably continue along whatever path it was going. Now, there was also Canadian dollar news. We'll take a brief look at that. We're going to jump over to Bitcoin, do a little bit more analysis on that, and then we're going to take a look at the NASDAQ if time permits. So let's look at the CAD. Now, the USD CAD, I called this like a month and a half ahead of time, whatever it's been doing here. And this was privately called at Algo Factory. Now, obviously, it went ahead and broke upward and finally stopped its large move down. But just so you understand how this goes, I called these moves here, and it was correct up until this point right here. And it still was kind of correct. I called this back in mid-June. So my prediction on USD CAD remained correct from mid-June until towards the end of July. This is almost a month and a half. Nobody's calling stuff like this right now. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're watching Algo Factory, right? If you're watching the weekly updates that I put out on Mondays, right? I let the Monday market open and then I take a look at what's going to happen in the charts. Last week's review was spot on with everything that I talked about. I talk about these on the top right corner here. I talk about the NASDAQ, Bitcoin, some forex pairs, gold. I talk about those things, right? I say, hey, this is what I think is going to happen this week. Now, of course, Trump could always say something crazy or some war erupts in the Middle East or something, and whatever I predict is out the window. But it generally is either correct or close to correct with a few exceptions. And last week, it was all correct because no crazy news happened. So if you want me to send you these updates, just go ahead, go to the description, click the link, give us a real name, fake name, we don't care. Put in your email, and we'll do a few things. We'll send you the weekly update in the email. We'll also let you know when the workshop is coming, and it is coming, because I'm going to do a free workshop. First workshop will be free. It'll be 2 days of watching me trade. Whatever happens in the market will happen. You'll be able to see my process and how I do things, whether or not there are any trades available, which there almost always are. And you will also be, I don't know. There's all kinds of great stuff. those are the two main things, right? You get a free algo. That's the one. It's right there on the screen. Sorry, I had a brain fart. In there is a free algo. As soon as you click the button, you'll have that. So moving on in the charts, Bitcoin itself is really just quiet right now. I don't expect a lot from it. Every time it reaches out to grab liquidity, to these big moves that you see with Bitcoin, kind of, bam, these big spikes either up or down, those are liquidity grabs. And the reason that's happening is that the move up in Bitcoin was extremely strong back in July. Now, price is either accumulating or distributing. What does that mean? Anytime you see a big move and then sideways market, there's either an accumulation or a distribution. And what does that mean? It means that in this case, let's just go back to the past. This big move up was followed by that move sideways. That move sideways was effectively a distribution. Why? Because price went down after that move. But then you had another sideways move, and that was right here in this period. That was an accumulation. That means that the buyers were buying, some people were still selling, but in the end, price went up afterwards. So you don't know if it's going to be an accumulation or a distribution until after the fact. And in this case, right now, we just had this big sideways move from early March until, like early July. And that ended up being an accumulation. So the question is, right, accumulation means the buyers are stacking, and then when the sellers get tired, price goes up. Distribution means that the sellers are getting rid of things, and then when the buyers get tired, price goes down. And then you see another sideways deal. So these are like mini accumulations on the way up right here. This one here, that's a little accumulation. Price was headed up, took a break. People sold off, but more people bought, price went up. The question is this going to be an accumulation or a distribution? Well, I think it is either an accumulation, meaning that price will probably go up afterwards, or it's a smaller distribution that will end up maybe back down here. And then after that, let me fix this here. And then after that, we might see a little accumulation, possibly, maybe really short, and then head back up, just like we saw back in this time when price distributed, accumulated, and headed up. We might see that again on a smaller scale, right? And it's impossible to know what's going to happen next, but I can tell you that the high time frame metrics for Bitcoin, if you look at the algos, or at least my algo, it's bullish. Bitcoin just wants to go up. That's just what it looks like. And while that can change, those high time frame metrics are pretty solid. So I expect that. We got V the Gorilla who is here. How are you, sir?
Greetings.
Greetings. What is happening, sir?
The lion and the tiger are beginning to lie down together, and the rain is starting to fall.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You're pretty quiet there, bud. Let's see if I can elevate your volume or something.
How about now? I just wasn't speaking loud.
Oh, okay. No, that's.
I was better. Whispering.
I was starving to hear your voice.
America is but a dream. If you say its name, more than a whisper, it just disappears.
Is that like Rome or something?
Gladiator, man.
Gladiator, yeah,
the original one.
I thought so.
Rome
yeah,
is but a dream, Maximus.
I guess the new
name can only be whispered. Anything
that's
more
pretty
than
good.
A whisper disappears. Rome is to be a republic.
That's spot on.
That was my Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, that was spot on, dude. It sounds just like him. Now do Marcus Aurelius choking inside of what's his name's coat.
You are my son.
What was the
Peter O'Toole, amazing actor.
Yeah, who
no, it
was
wasn't Peter O'Toole, it was somebody else. I forgot his name. Peter O'Toole was from Troy.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't place it. We're talking about Bitcoin right now, just going sideways. Look, it's the summertime. Is it gonna? If it pops down, it'll probably pop up afterwards. That's what it looks like in the algos. But people are on vacation, man, and that includes all of your larger players who would actually push price around. There's something to be understood about any kind of chart, whether it's Bitcoin or the NASDAQ or what have you, right? Ooh, NASDAQ really going off. Look at that. We'll get to that in a second. We might not have time for it. But these small moves, that means the big players are not in. They're not messing around. But these larger moves that you see, that means that the large institutional players are in the game. So everybody's on vacation. Also, Bitcoin made a massive move up, and it's just going to go sideways for a while. That's all I expect. Now, the NASDAQ, let's go to my prediction that I made on Monday, and let's see how accurate it is right now. Boy, oh boy, it surpassed my targets. Of course, I didn't predict past Wednesday. So we had a little chicanery in the charts, right? We had a little chicanery going on. See, I predicted price would want to either go sideways and up, and it actually went ahead and rinsed out a lot of the bears. So there was a bear trap that happened right here because price wanted to go up, and it sure did go up. And I knew it wanted to go up. But what you'll see when price wants to go up is very often it'll get forced down to scare people out of the trade, and then it'll pop up. And then of course it's like holding it on a beach ball. So, that was some FOMC chicanery right there. They waited until the FOMC, and this is why I cut the predictions off as of FOMC. This is one of the tougher weeks to try to predict anything. So now we got NASDAQ at all-time highs, and you'll see it breached both of my targets. My top target, it breached 2 days after or 1 or 2 days after I did the video, the weekly update, and that was at 23,656. And it literally followed my pattern, during that time. It's just so up until, it touched that top target, that prediction was accurate, and then they went ahead and positioned for FOMC, right? So that said, it actually breached the second target as of the Sunday video, which is 23,747, which of course I did call out on the video. The receipts are there. Go take a look at it. And if you want those emails that have been showing such predictions very accurately, go ahead and, like I said, go to the link in the description, click the link, you'll get a free algo, and I will send those weekly updates, those weekly forecasts to you every week. All right, good. So now to look at it from a high time frame, the NASDAQ is ridiculously bullish. It just doesn't stop. Even when it wants to stop, it does not stop. So we've been talking about this in the background, and this is something we'll probably have to discuss in the private live lab, which we are about to start right now. But suffice it to say, well, I'm going to let the gorilla just give a hint, like what, and don't say too much, V, before we go on to the private live lab. What are a lot of the, muckety muck hedgies, the smart money, what do they think of like the stock market right now doing what it's doing? What are you allowed to say?
It makes no sense.
There
we
you
all
have
know it. It makes no sense. It's not supposed to be here.
Right?
Bitcoin is not supposed to be where it's at. The NASDAQ, the S&P, none of this makes any sort of sense for this time around. For this
So
year.
even the smart money
Yeah.
is not getting it right, yeah?
No.
But you know who is getting it right?
We are.
The Algo motherfucking cowboy.
That's
and
right.
the V the gorilla are calling this shit out on a weekly basis. And the degree to which, because you don't get everything right. Nobody gets everything right. But the degree to which we're getting it right is better than anybody I can see on the internet right now. And that doesn't mean there's nobody doing it better. There's just nobody who I see doing it better, right? So if you all can find somebody who's doing it better, I would love to see who it is. I would. Seriously.
There's nobody else out there that does what we do, period.
No,
Period.
Certainly nobody that does what we do. Not publicly. I guarantee you there's some eggheads out there that are killing it. I know a dude that trades NASDAQ like he's ringing a bell. But that said, I don't think he ain't sharing his stuff online.
No.
So, V the Gorilla, sir, can you get us over to that private lab?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Follow us over to the private lab. Don't wonder, hey, should I try this out? Should I do this? Listen, just freaking do it, man. You need multiple income streams. One of the most effective ways of doing that is compounding your ability to make money over time, and you can't beat that with trading. So join us, algofactory.tech.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die.